Okay, we're live. Good morning, Erica. How are you?
Good morning, Anne. I'm well. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Can't believe it's been 20 years since you graduated from Cumberland. And now you are the clerk of the Bibb County Clerk of the Superior Court in Macon, Georgia.
Yes.
Summarize for us, if you will, please, your experience leading up to your role as clerk.
Okay, great. So, yeah, it's only been a short few years, just 20 years. So, when I graduated Cumberland, which is the best school and provides and puts out the best lawyers that I've ever
For
seen. But
sure,
anyway,
for
when
sure.
I graduated in 2000, I went to work for the Kentucky Department of Public Advocacy. So, I was a public defender in Paducah, Kentucky. Fun and exciting to be in Paducah, Kentucky. They have the National Quilting Museum. So
Oh, I didn't
I
know
was in
that.
I was in Paducah for about 6 months, and then I decided to move back to my hometown, which is Macon. So I hung my shingle and I practiced law for 8 years in Macon. I was a contract attorney for criminal matters. So every new attorney in the state of Georgia at the time, before we had our public defender's office statewide, every new attorney for the first 5 years had to be on the list. And what that means is you had to take indigent cases, criminal cases. So I did both indigent cases as well as retained criminal cases. So I practiced criminal law for 8 years. I was also one of the juvenile law contract attorneys representing children in juvenile delinquency matters and also in DFACS cases, which is our Department of Family and Children Services. So I either represented the child as a guardian ad litem, or I represented one of the parents or custodian trying to get the child out of DFACS care. So I did that for 8 years. I was appointed as a civil court judge and magistrate in Bibb County Civil and Magistrate Court. So I was a magistrate judge for 4 years. That was a full-time position. And in magistrate court, we handled, of course, first appearance hearings in the jail. So every week I got to go to our lovely jail. Also warrants, arrest warrants, search warrants. We actually had no-knock warrants, which are very controversial. And it's also our small claims court. So our civil and magistrate court is actually one of two hybrid courts in Georgia where we have both civil and magistrate. So civil is small claims up to 25,000, and then of course magistrate with your warrants, search warrants, first appearance hearings. So did that for 4 years, and after that, I decided to run for clerk of Superior Court. So the previous clerk was in the position for about 16 years. And at that time, I was really fatigued from practicing law because, as most criminal attorneys know, that's very taxing and stressful. Obviously, when you want to do a good job for your client. Now, I apologize for the coughing. That's my 16-year-old dog in the background with bronchitis.
That's okay. At least it's not a person coughing in the house.
Right. He may have COVID-19. I don't know, but definitely bronchitis. But anyway, when you practice criminal law, it's very mentally draining, especially if you want to do a good job. I was always, up late at night thinking of strategies and theories. And then when I was in magistrate court going to the jail every week, same thing, criminal law, very stressful, very taxing. And so I decided that I wanted to do something still in the legal field, but not actually practicing law. So running for Superior Court clerk of Bibb County was actually probably the best thing I could have ever done. And it's probably the happiest and most satisfied that I've been in the last 20 years. And I ran for clerk of court in 2012. And so I was elected and started as clerk January 1 of 13. I just ran for re-election back in, we had a late election, so it was June, but I'm actually on the November ballot, so every presidential. But I'm unopposed, so I'll be starting my third term in January.
Wonderful. Well, good luck to you. And
Thank you.
it sounds like you had excellent experience to earn this role and be elected. and as quite a young lawyer too. You were elected after only, what, 12 years of practice
Yes,
experience.
yes.
Tell me this. You mentioned to me, and I'm just excited to get to this. You mentioned to me a project that you initiated called the Slave Record Project. Tell us about that.
Okay, great. So as clerk of court, first I'll give you some of my duties, if that's okay, like just in
Yep.
general, and then I'll explain the Slave Record Project. So as clerk of court, I am an elected official. I'm a constitutional officer. So in Georgia, you have 4 constitutional officers. You have your clerk of court, your probate judge, your sheriff, and your tax collector or tax commissioner. And so those 4 constitutional officers, they report directly to the citizens. So, sometimes people ask, well, do you work for the judge? No, I work in tandem with the judge. My position is quasi-judicial in nature, but I work for the people. So the clerk of court was created back around 1780 to be that impartial official record keeper for the county. So as clerk, I'm the official record keeper, and within our jurisdiction, we have civil matters, so anything dealing with families, divorce, adoption, child support, child custody, any other civil matter, Department of Transportation cases, any civil matter regarding land, accidents. So almost every civil case is within our jurisdiction. Criminal cases, we have felonies. So those are our court records that I'm responsible for. I'm also responsible for our land records. I'm the jury clerk for the county, so I manage the master jury list. I am the court receiver for the county, so we collect and disperse child support fees, fines, and restitution to the tune of about $3 million annually. And I'm the Board of Equalization Appeals Administrator. So when citizens appeal their tax assessor's decision, they do that to the Board of Equalization. So I manage that board and the process. But as record keeper of all the land records, this brings us to the Slave Record Project. Mm-hmm. So we have all property and land records dating back to 1823, when Bibb County was founded. So back in 2013, I was upstairs in the mezzanine in our vault, because we have a vault in the middle of the clerk's office, looking at some records upstairs. I pulled out this giant deed book 3. I opened the book, and what did I see in this deed book? I saw this certain man is selling a Negro girl named Harriet, age 11, fair complexion. I warrant her to have long, straight hair and to be well and sound, for $750. Wow. So, of course, that gave me chills, goosebumps, and everything else. Mm-hmm. And so fast forward from then to now, we have close to 1,000 slave records in our books in Bibb County. So varying from some of the same people are selling these slaves, buying and selling slaves. The city of Macon actually purchased slaves to do road maintenance. The railroad purchased slaves to build the railroad. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some churches own slaves. Mm-hmm. And then just other history, we have a lot of churches, probably more churches per capita than anywhere else. And this is something that I read. And so it's funny because we'll have a First Baptist church and then across the street a First Baptist church. But we have the white church and the black church. Mm-hmm. Because back then, the slaves would come and they'd sit in the balcony because they couldn't mix, of course, mm-hmm. with the white owners. Mm-hmm. So they would build another church. So you have First Baptist Church for the whites and First Baptist for the slaves. But anyway, I digress. Oh. So Slave Record Project, I'm sorry, Ann, I could talk about this all day.
No, it's fascinating. Have you compiled any sort of resource or something that any story or summary of what you found?
Yes. So I graduated from Mercer University here in Macon. I decided to collaborate with Mercer in a digitizing project. So on Mercer's end, they call it Digitizing Black Life in Middle Georgia.
Mhm.
And on my side, I call it the Slave Record Project. So all of these records have been scanned. So they've been digitized. And we have a land record system called eSearch through our vendor COT. So we got students from Mercer, they're and research librarians to teach the students how to, first of all, read this old cursive.
Mhm.
So the students read each page of the deed books to find the slave records. Then they compile the data in spreadsheets. So we have the seller, the buyer, the book and page number, the purchase amount, and a description of the property. Harriet, Negro, fair complexion, long straight hair. So we've compiled this data and we've scanned the records. So the records are actually scanned in to our eSearch system. So when you go in to search our criminal records or civil records, you could also search our current land records, but then you can click on a historic tab and you'll be able to see the actual slave records.
So
So
anyone can log in and search.
yes,
Very
so if
cool.
you go to makeandbibb.us,
Okay.
find the clerk of Superior Court, and then find the link for search land records.
Okay.
It'll take you to our eSearch system. And if you click the historical tab or historic tab, then you'll be able to go in and search these documents. But we also have another site that we're building called Record Room. And in Record Room, you'll actually be able to, the documents will be indexed. So if you type in a search term, it's almost like a dummied down or watered down Google. So if you just type in a word, Harriet, it'll pull up any transaction with Harriet. Or if you type in 57, it'll pull up either any page 57 or any slave who was 57 years old, anything with the word 57.
Okay.
So we're working on that. And because of COVID-19, that sort of slowed down our progress, but the records are at least in eSearch right now. You can't index or type any actual word, but you can say, pull up book 3. And then you can just scroll through the pages of book 3. Some will be property records. Some will be slave records. Some will be marriage records where, if Anne agrees, Anne's father allows her to marry John, and John agrees to take care of you and give you $25 each year for the next 10 years. And if he decides he doesn't want you anymore, he has to give your dad $1,000.
What a neat resource, though, especially for, I'm thinking high school students and college students, anyone that wants to do more research in this area.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to do anything more with it, or publicize it somehow, or somehow, share the resource with students?
Yes. So all of the above. We actually have tours to come in. I organize tours so that we have elementary students, middle school, high school students, and even senior citizens. So there's a seniors group, and they will come in, we'll do a tour, and then I'll show them these records. So they're a great resource. Also, earlier this year, we participated with Mercer in the Georgia Symposium on Humanities. And we had reached out to some other universities. We were going to go and actually do the presentation that we did at the Humanities Symposium at UGA and at some other schools. So it's a great resource also for genealogists.
That's right. Very cool. Well, I look forward to sharing information about your project.
Great.
Thank you for doing that. I'm sure that consumed a lot of time, but I'm sure it was very rewarding too.
Yes, it's been a long time coming. So we started this project probably back in 2016, I think.
Okay.
17. Just got the documents scanned in last summer after all the reviewing, and then we still have to do like triple verify. So we've had students verify, we've had older adults or retired adults or professors to come in and verify. Now my staff have to verify just so that we're compliant with the state standards.
I see.
So the information is basically triple verified before it goes in to our record room project.
I see. Well, good luck with the rest of that too.
Thank
And
you.
moving back a step to all of the responsibilities that you described um, in your office, how many staff people do you have? And are they lawyers or are they other administrative professionals?
In my office, we have 30 staff members, self-included, as well as 2 interns usually, because I like to get college students in and give them actual real experience. So they're not just making copies, they're going to court, jury duty, that
Mhm.
sort of thing. So we have those 30 staff members, 3 of us are attorneys. So the chief deputy clerk is an attorney, and the person that I've appointed as court receiver or court order payments receiver is also an attorney, because the court receiver has to go to court every week on Tuesday to enforce the order. So if the non-custodial parent is not paying child support and they are delinquent, maybe 30 days, we bring them to court.
Is that an elected position as well, or appointed?
No, that's appointed by me. So in theory, I am the court ordered payments receiver,
I see. I see.
but
I see.
I, I've appointed an attorney.
To carry out the administrative work.
Yes, yes, to be the court receiver.
Okay. Well, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for your time, Erica, and I wish you the best in the upcoming election. And is it, you will be in the election for this year, correct?
Yes, in November.
Okay. And it's a 4-year term, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Unlimited term. So hopefully when I'm 90, I'll be hobbling into the office still.
Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.